Hi there, my name is Mary Masamo, and this is the story of how I relocated back to Kenya from the United States of America after 17 years. When I moved to the United States of America, I was just turning 20 years old. That's a child. I can't even think about it. I went there because of the opportunity that I had to go and study for my undergraduate degree. I did not think about how long I'm going to be there or what I wanted to achieve or even what I was seeing my future to look like. I was such a young one. I was just happy to go there and, mingle, meet other people and see what the clubs had to offer. I was excited because I did have friends over there already. So I was like, so we can go and hang out with my friends over there. And people had talked about how it was easy to find jobs even when you're a student and you have all this extra money, freedom, no curfew. The parent cannot even monitor you. You know why? Because they're over 50,000 miles away. So how are they going to know what's going on? I got to meet people from all over the world, which is something that I really wanted to do. The image I had regarding the United States of America, being that I had not traveled there before, was what I saw on MTV and in videos and movies. They keep getting food. Looks like that they're paying little money. Food is the most expensive thing in the United States of America. They have these beautiful homes. I thought when you land, they give you these homes for free. Little did I know, I had to work so hard for everything. Blood, sweat, and tears, real blood, sweat, and tears to get anything that I wanted. So all these things that I was seeing on MTV and Hollywood were lies. So I got to the United States of America. I landed in January. If anybody knows, January is winter. So they had told me it was going to be cold. I just did not know their definition of cold is not the same as what we had here. So I get there, my body can barely move. I have traveled close to 60 hours because of the connections. I was back then, they did not have a lot of options like right now. The person waiting for me in the airport just had a placard at the airport with my name on it. I don't know this person. They're supposed to just pick me up. I get to the school, they don't even direct me that this is where you go and try and find your accommodations or anything. No, there was nothing like that. And because I had missed orientation, I had to be my own orientator. It was hard the first week, and I had imagined, that, because I'm coming to school, it was like Kenya. Them days people would have soap is something that was accessible, or maybe there's Mama Kibanda over there that I can buy some soap or some toilet paper. So I was like, I didn't pack all that. Shock on me. I had to walk to the to the Walmart, which is like a big superstore, supermarket, to do all my shopping with the little change that I had. That is how life started for me. If I compare the excitement for the night before I left and the first week that I was there, I almost took a return ticket to come back. I called my father to tell this man that I'm coming back. He said, no problem, just come back. You can help your mom in the shamba, just to show me that there's no any other option. So you gotta stay there. Because I'm here, freezing. I don't have any sweater that is thick enough for my cold self. I am scared. I don't know nobody. If anybody you ask questions, I did not have the concept of even racism that people associate me with danger. So anytime you would try and ask questions to anybody who's even Caucasian or approach them, they are scared of you. Yeah, so I don't have that concept. I'm in this new country. I'm trying to find my way around. And when I called this man, he was like, your mom has a shamba. Actually, we might just fire the shamba boy so that you can just do all the work here. So I had to stay. And this was very surreal that, I guess life has begun now. When I got my footing in college, I believe was after getting my first college job. I found somebody who we were in the same class with, and I spoke to one of the advisors. They were able to assist me to get a job in the kitchen washing dishes. Yes, I did that job. My experience in the United States of America, at any point in life, I always knew, or maybe this is something that I was born with, I liked money. That is the number one thing I knew. So yes, I had a job, but I realized for me to be with money that is extra and comfortable for me and not stressed, the job that I was doing was not sufficient. So I had to come up with creative ways to get money. When I say creative was I decided to be a tutor. I decided to apply for all the scholarships and grants that they could give me. The worst they could say was no. I was also thinking about my health. I can't be in the kitchen scrubbing some pots the whole day. I'm trying to hit the club. I am trying to be social. I am trying to, see America. I was paid $6.25 per hour. And that is how I navigated college. So after undergraduate school, I was able to find a job. I moved states from Minnesota, and then I moved to go live in Connecticut. That state is very rich. Like, people have money there, and their organizations pay well, but it is cold. A whole lot of, it's so cold. And life is very expensive. But I moved there because that's where I could find a position with the visa terms that I had and not be an illegal resident. So anytime you're given a visa here, they give you an extra year that you can work and you can apply for that. So I was on that. So somebody offered me a job. I went there. I knew nobody. I found a house on Craigslist. I didn't even know if these people were murderers, abductors, they sell people's organs. No, I had faith. Packed up my 2 bags and moved states because I knew nobody. There's nobody else to advise you what to do. So you have to make these decisions on the fly. So I moved to Connecticut. It works out well. I had the best landlord ever. Ever. They treated me like a younger baby sister, which was amazing. And then I worked for this organization that was growing, and it was pretty new. At that point, for my position, yes, they were paying well, and I was not paying a high bill of rent or even electricity or whatever. So I was able to save a lot of money. One day, the CEO of the company that I was working for approached me and told me that they did not have any more money for my position. So my job had to end. So the good thing is, after he approached me and told me this, I had saved quite a big chunk. I've been pretty savvy with money. I figured that, I can try and survive and look for another job before the visa that I currently have expires. So I did try to find another job in Connecticut. I couldn't find any at that point. A friend of mine who lives in Maryland tells me, you should move to Maryland. There's more opportunities around here because, we're close to DC and all that. I was like, okay, fine. So I applied for a house to rent because, in America, anytime you apply for a house, you have to show that you can pay for the house. I applied for the house, and then I used the pay stubs from this other job. I didn't say that they're letting me go. I used the pay stubs from this other job, applied for this house. They approved me. So that means I can move and I have somewhere to stay. And, once I'm in there, I already knew the law that in Maryland, it's very hard to get somebody who's not paying rent outside the house. So, we tried and used that for a while. I stayed without a job for 2 months. But good thing I still had that cushion that I had created for myself. But within 2 months, I was back into a job. And I was working. My landlord never knew that I never had a job because he was still getting his rent. I was eating. The furniture is usually really accessible in the US, especially if you're just starting out life and you're not really picky. So I was not really picky at that time. As long as I had a nice bed, that's it. That's all that matters. And a good cooking pot, and a plate. So I applied, I found a job, but I had to drive really far. Connecticut is not a state where people drive a lot. I was using public means everywhere. So I had to find me a car. I found a car. My first car was $2,500, and that's the first car that I bought in Maryland to navigate going to work and coming back home. I bought my first car at 24 years old. It was a hoopty. If you found me outside and I was right next to that car, I would deny. It was that bad. Rusty, the one door had a different color. The other door was something else. It was just horrific. I would say that's not my car. And actually, I think I did that once. So it breaks down after 2 months. And so now I have to get a more reliable car. They allowed me to trade the scrap that I had and give them some money, and then I added some money on top of it, and then I got something that was more reliable. And they allowed me to pay in installments. That was the agreement. I was somebody that I knew. At this point of my life, I think I was still surviving because I barely knew what I actually wanted. I had not started thinking long term, or what do you want to pursue? How is life supposed to look like for you? What do you really want? All I knew was I wanted to feel safe and secure, and the thing that makes me feel safe and secure is money. So I've worked this job, I am hustling, I can move around, and now we can go on dates and whatever. So I met my son's father. Life happens, and we were together for 4 years. So on the third year, I have my son. I was about 27. That is when I realized life can be hard. First of all, do you understand, as a mother, if you ain't got no rich husband or money, you're broke. You will just be crying every day. That is when life just became harder and harder, because you have this human that you have to provide for. And yes, my situation was not going too well. Although that was happening and we knew that we were going separate ways, the other thing that came in as a curveball is I got really sick in the US. And at that point, like, my sickle cell anemia crisis was just really bothering me for a couple of years, to the point where my job told me that they had to let me go and put somebody who is more permanent. In short, they couldn't keep me on payroll anymore, because I was always in and outside the hospital, and I'm a mother, and I still have to deal with other stresses. It came to a point I decided I wanted to apply for a job that they would not be able to let me go really easily. The only people who can do that is a government job. So I started applying. Applying for jobs was my full-time job. Finally, somebody called me, and I was able to start in a position in a Navy base as a contracting specialist. I had never had what that was. I didn't even know what that was going to be about, but I was like, we need a job. This is what we're going to do. My first salary, I was making 32,000 American dollars per year. That is before taxes. And I have a child to take care of, and still I have to pay bills. That was nothing. I don't know how I made that dollar stretch. But when I signed my contract, I was able to negotiate that I get a promotion every year for the next consecutive 3 years, which would make me end up at a good level. So the first year, when I just started the job, I was still cleaning people's houses, babysitting, doing anything and everything to get extra cash on the side, because, my salary was not enough. On my third year, I had more money I can play with and cash in my bank account. So I could start dreaming again. What do I want? After 1 year, I was able to be promoted to a different level. I made myself so skilled. The good thing about the government is they will train you, and they will train you very well. So I took all the training, and I became so skilled, and I got a promotion. That is when I decided to buy my first house. It was a townhome. I would consider it modest. And although it was pretty brand new, I saw it being built, and I was the first person to own that house. At that age, I was 29 years old when I owned my first home. I really wanted a stable home for my son, and it made me feel more secure. And also, in terms of the resource, this was one of the resources that was there. However, the main thing of me getting the home was that my bills were predictable. Nobody can raise my mortgage. I know my interest rate every month. It's not like a landlord who can come and say, okay, the year is over, so we're raising the rent by 2%. That can never happen with a mortgage. So I wanted to keep it predictable. That way I can plan for other dreams that I had. So this was also a strategy for me. So I bought the home. It was very beautiful, and I felt that I was able to achieve something. And this was the first thing that I had achieved that was really huge without my son's father in my life. So it also did a lot of self-esteem building, and also trusting of myself and my decision making. Having wanted more, I said I wanted more money, I wanted a bigger home, I've never cared about cars, but I wanted a car that I could tell people that is my car. I wanted to do a lot of international travel. So that means money. So I kept applying for promotions. After 1 year, 52 weeks, I would start applying. And I would apply like I'm being paid to apply, until somebody calls me for an interview. And I would choose to take that job or not, depending on the goals or what the next skill I wanted to learn was. So I did that every single year. Every 52 weeks, I would stay loyal to my bank account. That being said, when I got to like one level, to the most senior level in the government in the United States of America, I stopped doing that, because to get to the most senior level, they would require so much from me, which I was not sure I was willing to give, because I was already giving a lot, being that I was working full-time, being a single mom, and trying to be as present as I can be, and still maintain the promises that I have kept, that we're going to travel, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. So it was getting a little bit hectic for me, and a lot at that time. So at this point, after being very busy at work, I started asking myself deeper questions. Is this how I want my life to be? Is this the kind of parent I want to show up as? Is this my ideal situation? And if money is no longer the problem, or was never the problem anymore, what else do I want? So I realized my definition of success changed from being a boss lady who works in Washington, D.C., in the government, running up and down and doing everything. And it became something else. Rest. Well-rested woman who still has money, don't get it twisted, but is also very present in their child's life and can still check all these other boxes with the support that she wants, that she missed all those years that she had to raise herself. And that's when the dream of coming back to Kenya was conceived.